Your time is your life, and how you spend it determines who you become. Every moment that passes is a moment you'll never get back. Every distraction you entertain, every delay you justify, every hour you waste, they all quietly steal pieces of your potential. And yet, most people move through their days as if time were endless. They chase noise instead of meaning, urgency instead of importance, comfort instead of growth. But there comes a point when you realize that life isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters most. It's about mastering your attention, because what you focus on shapes your destiny. We live in an age where distractions rule. Notifications flash, voices compete for your attention, and 1,000 tiny temptations pull you away from your purpose. You wake up intending to build, to improve, to move forward. But before you know it, you're scrolling, switching, reacting, and regretting. The truth is simply distraction is the silent thief of dreams. It doesn't destroy your potential all at once. It chips away at it, one wasted minute at a time. You cannot create greatness while chasing noise. You cannot build mastery while surrendering your focus. And you cannot live deeply while constantly being pulled shallow. If you want to rise, if you want to build something that lasts, you must train your mind to choose what matters. Focus isn't just about discipline. It's about clarity. It's about knowing who you are, what you want, and what deserves your energy. When you focus on what truly matters, your world becomes sharper. The fog clears. Suddenly, you see how much of what you once thought was important isn't. You start saying no more often, not because you're rude or indifferent, but because your purpose demands it. Focus is power. It turns effort into impact. It turns moments into progress. And it turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Think about the most successful people in any field. Athletes, artists, entrepreneurs, leaders. Their secret isn't luck or talent. It's focus. They've learned to give their attention only to the things that move them closer to their vision. They don't waste time explaining their dreams to those who can't see them. They don't scroll endlessly through other people's lives. They don't chase validation or comparison. They wake up each day, look their purpose in the eye, and move forward, one focused action at a time. There's a difference between being busy and being productive. Most people confuse the two. You can spend your entire day in motion, answering emails, replying to messages, checking notifications, and still accomplish nothing meaningful. Business feels like progress, but often it's just avoidance. It's the mind's way of hiding from what truly matters because meaningful work is uncomfortable. It demands focus, patience, and consistency. Things our distracted world rarely encourages. So ask yourself this: am I busy or am I building? Being busy is easy. Building is hard, but only one creates a legacy worth leaving. Your mind is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. And just like any muscle, focus can be developed through consistent practice. Start small. Begin by setting clear priorities for your day. Ask yourself, what is the single most important thing I need to do today to move closer to my goals? Do that first, before distractions, before comfort, before excuses. Then, build your focus muscle by eliminating the unnecessary. Create environments that support your attention. Silence your phone, clear your workspace, set boundaries with your time. And when distractions try to pull you away, as they inevitably will, don't fight them with frustration. Redirect your energy. Remind yourself of your why. Every time you resist distraction, you train your mind to obey your purpose. Every time you finish what you start, you strengthen your inner discipline. Focus is not a gift. It's a choice you make over and over until it becomes who you are. Every hour wasted is an hour borrowed from your future self. Think about that. When you postpone your dreams, when you scroll through meaningless feeds, when you let fear or laziness delay your potential, it's your future self who pays the price. Time wasted is never just lost. It's traded. You trade your potential for distraction. You trade your future for comfort. But the opposite is also true. Every focused hour, every disciplined day, every act of commitment you make compounds into something powerful. Growth, mastery, freedom. So the question is not, do I have enough time? The question is, am I honoring the time I have? Because when you honor your time, you honor your life. Focus flourishes in simplicity. When your life is cluttered with too many commitments, too many possessions, and too many opinions, your mind loses its strength. Simplify what you can. Let go of what no longer serves your growth. The habits, the people, the distractions that keep you small. Remember this, you cannot focus on your purpose while clinging to your past. Choose fewer things, but do them better. Choose fewer people, but connect more deeply. Choose fewer goals, but pursue them relentlessly. Simplicity doesn't mean doing less. It means doing what matters most. There will be days when your motivation fades, when focus feels impossible, when distractions seem louder than your dreams. Those are the moments that define you, because anyone can stay focused when it's easy. But champions stay focused when it's hard. You must learn to act beyond your emotions. Don't wait to feel like working. Work until your focus returns. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Create it with your consistency. Train your mind to lead, not follow. When your thoughts wander, bring them back. When you feel tired, remind yourself why you started. When the world demands your attention, give it only to what truly matters. This is mastery, not of time, but of self. What truly matters, so what does matter? It's not the number of things you do. It's the meaning behind them. It's not the hours you spend. It's what those hours create. It's not the noise of the crowd. It's the clarity of your purpose. What matters is growth. What matters is love, contribution, and integrity. What matters is becoming the person you were meant to be. When you focus on these things, life becomes lighter, simpler, and infinitely more fulfilling, because you're no longer chasing everything. You're building something that lasts. The moment is now. Don't wait for a new year, a better mood, or a perfect plan. Start now. Start with one decision to stop wasting time on what drains you and start investing in what builds you. Decide that your focus is sacred. Decide that your time is precious. Decide that your dreams deserve your full attention, because the truth is, life will always offer you distractions, but it will also offer you direction. The question is, which one will you choose? Imagine looking back years from now, knowing you gave your full heart and focus to what mattered most. Imagine the peace of knowing you didn't waste your potential. You lived it. That vision begins today, in this moment, with this choice to take control of your time, your focus, your life. Because once you learn to train your mind to focus only on what matters, You stop chasing time and start creating it. Distraction is the quiet enemy that steals our most valuable resource, our time. It doesn't shout or demand attention in obvious ways. Instead, it whispers, it tempts, it seduces. It disguises itself as convenience, as entertainment, as rest, until we slowly lose our edge without even realizing it. 1 minute becomes 10, 10 becomes an hour, and suddenly, another day has slipped through our fingers. The danger of distraction isn't just that it wastes time. It fragments the mind. It pulls your attention into 1,000 directions until you no longer know what you were truly aiming for. Think about how often your attention is divided. You open your phone just to check one message, and 20 minutes later, you're scrolling through things that add no value to your life. You sit down to work, and an email notification pulls you into something unrelated. You plan to rest, but instead of true rest, you consume noise, endless updates, conversations, and content that leaves you mentally exhausted. This constant switching, this tug of war for your focus, is costing you more than time. It's costing you clarity, creativity, and peace of mind. Distraction has become the currency of the modern world. Every app, every platform, every piece of media is designed to compete for your attention. You are not the customer. You are the product. Your attention fuels an economy built on keeping you occupied, but never fulfilled. The more distracted you are, the more disconnected you become from your goals, your values, and your own sense of purpose. And that's how dreams fade. Not through failure, but through constant interruption. The truth is, no one ever plans to waste time. People lose it gradually, in small, seemingly harmless moments. They convince themselves that 5 more minutes won't matter. But every choice compounds. Each time you give in to distraction, you strengthen the habit of avoidance. You train your brain to seek quick relief instead of meaningful progress. You teach yourself to be reactive instead of intentional. Over time, this erodes your ability to focus deeply on anything. When you're constantly distracted, your mind never gets the chance to settle into true concentration. That rare and powerful state where ideas flow freely and your best work emerges. Instead, you live on the surface of your thoughts, always jumping from one thing to another. You finish less, remember less, and enjoy less. Distraction robs not only your productivity, but also your ability to experience life fully. To understand the cost of distraction, imagine this. You're standing on a mountain path with a clear view of your destination in the distance. But every few steps, someone calls your name, points in another direction, or asks you to stop and look at something. You turn, you pause, you follow, and before long, you've lost the trail. That's what happens when you allow your mind to be constantly diverted. You forget where you were headed. You lose the rhythm of progress. And the cruel irony is that distraction often feels productive. Checking messages feels like staying connected. Watching educational videos feels like learning. Planning feels like doing, but in truth, you're just moving in circles. Busy, but not building. This illusion of progress can be more dangerous than inaction because it convinces you that you're working toward something, even when you're standing still. The most successful people understand that their attention is sacred. They protect it fiercely because they know focus is their greatest leverage. They don't chase every notification or indulge every impulse. They decide what matters most and then eliminate everything that interferes. Their power doesn't come from doing more. It comes from giving their undivided attention to what truly matters. If you want to achieve anything meaningful, you must recognize distraction for what it is: a thief wearing a friendly face. It offers comfort, relief, and momentary pleasure, but it steals your potential quietly, one interruption at a time. You can't win against distraction by trying to eliminate it completely. That's impossible. But you can win by learning to master your attention, by creating an inner stillness that refuses to be pulled by every external noise. Begin by noticing how often you're distracted and what pulls you away. Awareness is the first step to control. Once you see how much time you lose to meaningless diversions, you'll start valuing your focus differently. Guard it as you would guard something priceless. Because it is. Your focus determines the quality of your thoughts, and your thoughts determine the quality of your life. Distraction may be the silent thief, but awareness is the alarm that stops it. Every moment you reclaim your attention, you reclaim a piece of your power. Every time you choose intention over impulse, you strengthen your mind, and when you finally learn to protect your focus, you don't just save time. You start shaping a life built on purpose, clarity, and true progress. Focus is the invisible force that separates those who drift from those who drive. It is the difference between intention and distraction, between motion and momentum. When you focus, you give direction to your energy, purpose to your effort, and meaning to your time. Without focus, even your greatest potential remains scattered, powerful but unused, like sunlight dispersed through clouds. But when that same energy is concentrated, it becomes unstoppable, like a beam of light capable of cutting through steel. Focus begins with clarity. You cannot direct your attention toward what truly matters if you haven't first decided what that is. Many people spend their lives chasing everything, and in doing so, achieve nothing of depth. They mistake activity for achievement, thinking that busyness equals progress. But the truth is, no amount of motion will move you forward if it's not aligned with a clear purpose. Focus is what gives your effort direction. It's the quiet conviction that says, "This is what matters right now, and everything else can wait." The beauty of focus lies in its simplicity. It doesn't require perfection, only consistency. It's about showing up each day with a clear intention and the discipline to see it through. Every time you direct your full attention to a single task, you teach your mind to value depth over speed, quality over quantity. That's how mastery is built, not through occasional bursts of inspiration, but through steady, focused action. The human mind is capable of extraordinary things, but only when it's not divided among too many distractions. When you train yourself to focus, you begin to notice a shift in your energy. Your thoughts become sharper. Your work becomes more meaningful. You start to feel a deep sense of control over your life because you're no longer reacting to everything around you. You're choosing what deserves your energy. This choice is powerful because focus is not just about attention, it's about alignment. It means aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with a single purpose, until everything within you moves in the same direction. Imagine what happens when you pour your entire being into one thing, one goal, one task, one dream. The results are transformative. You begin to see progress where there was once frustration. You begin to feel peace where there was once chaos. That's the power of focus. It creates momentum. Every small step compounds. Every consistent action builds strength. The clearer your focus, the faster your progress. Yet, most people underestimate how easily focus can be broken. Every distraction, every unnecessary commitment, every moment spent worrying about things beyond your control chips away at your mental clarity. The world is full of noise, and if you don't guard your attention, it will be stolen before you realize it. Focus, therefore, is not something you find, it's something you protect. It's a skill, one that requires boundaries, awareness, and courage. Focus demands that you say no more often. No to distractions, no to people who drain your energy, no to opportunities that don't align with your deeper purpose. This isn't selfishness, it's self-respect. You cannot give your best to anything if you are giving small pieces of yourself to everything. Learning to focus means learning to let go of multitasking, of comparison, of the need to be everywhere and do everything. Some people fear focus because it feels like limitation. They worry that by choosing one path, they're closing the door to others. But real focus doesn't limit you. It liberates you. It frees you from the weight of indecision and scattered effort. It allows you to move forward with confidence, knowing that your energy is invested in what truly matters. When your focus is clear, your mind is calm. You stop trying to please everyone, chase every trend, or prove your worth through endless activity. You start creating instead of reacting. There's a reason why some of the most accomplished individuals in history speak about focus as the foundation of greatness. It's because focus turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. It's not always easy. In fact, it's rarely easy, but it's always worth it. The ability to focus deeply in a world built to distract you is a superpower. And like all powers, it grows with practice. Start by giving your full attention to one thing today. One conversation, one task, one moment. Feel the difference it makes. You'll notice that time seems to expand. Your mind feels lighter. Your actions feel deliberate. That's what happens when you align your energy with purpose. Life slows down, but progress accelerates. The truth is, focus is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters most, with your whole heart and mind engaged. Once you understand this, everything changes. You stop living by reaction and start living by intention. You realize that the path to your highest potential isn't found by chasing everything. It's built by mastering one thing at a time, one focused moment after another. There is a subtle but dangerous illusion that traps countless people. The illusion of being busy. On the surface, business looks like productivity. It feels satisfying to rush from one task to another, to fill the day with endless activity, to feel constantly in motion. But underneath all that movement, there is often very little progress. Being busy is about doing many things. Being productive is about doing the right things. The two are not the same, and mistaking one for the other can quietly destroy your focus, your energy, and ultimately, your purpose. Business gives you a false sense of achievement. It tricks your mind into believing that motion equals momentum. You check your emails, return a few calls, scroll through updates, and convince yourself you've worked hard. But when the day ends, you realize that nothing truly important has moved forward. You've spent your time maintaining, reacting, managing, but not creating, not building, not growing. This is how entire weeks, months, and even years can slip away in the illusion of progress. Many people wear business like a badge of honor. They measure their worth by how full their calendars look, how many tasks they juggle, or how late they stay awake working. Society often glorifies exhaustion as a sign of ambition, when in truth, it's often a symptom of misalignment. True achievement doesn't come from constant movement. It comes from deliberate, focused action. There's a difference between working hard and working effectively. The first burns energy. The second builds results. When you're busy, your mind is constantly switching between tasks, chasing urgency instead of importance. You start each day reacting to whatever demands your attention first. Messages, meetings, notifications. And before long, your priorities are buried under noise. This constant reactivity drains your focus and scatters your energy. You may be active all day, but you end the day mentally exhausted and emotionally empty, because none of that activity fed your deeper goals. Productivity, on the other hand, is calm, centered, and intentional. It's not about how much you do, but about how much meaning your actions carry. Productive people don't measure success by how busy they look. They measure it by the results they produce and the peace they feel while doing it. They understand that time is not something to fill, it's something to use wisely. Every hour is an investment, and every distraction is a withdrawal from that investment. The illusion of business also comes from fear. The fear of slowing down, of confronting silence, of realizing that activity doesn't always equal purpose. Many people stay busy to avoid facing themselves. They rush from one thing to another because stillness feels uncomfortable. But that stillness is where clarity lies. Without moments of reflection, you can't distinguish between what truly matters and what merely fills space. Business may keep you occupied, but it rarely keeps you fulfilled. There is a certain pride in saying, "I'm too busy." It sounds important, impressive even. But if you look closer, constant business often hides poor focus, lack of boundaries, and the inability to prioritize. Truly effective people are not constantly rushing. They are selective. They choose fewer commitments and give them their full attention. They say no to what doesn't align with their vision, even if it means disappointing others. They know that every yes to something unimportant is a silent no to something meaningful. When you focus on being productive instead of busy, your days start to feel lighter yet more powerful. You begin each morning knowing exactly what deserves your energy, and you end each night with the satisfaction that what you did mattered. You stop chasing urgency and start creating significance. You spend more time in deep work, those stretches of undistracted effort where you create your best ideas and strongest results, and less time reacting to minor demands that don't move your life forward. To escape the illusion of business, you must learn to pause and ask a simple question. Is this task moving me closer to my goals, or is it just keeping me occupied? That one question can change everything. Because often, it's not the number of things you do that determines success. It's the quality of focus you bring to the few things that truly matter. The mind loves the comfort of motion. It loves to feel engaged. But progress requires direction. A ship that sails in circles still moves, but it never reaches the shore. The same is true for your time. Without direction, all the effort in the world won't bring you closer to your destination. The moment you stop mistaking movement for progress, you regain control of your time. The goal isn't to fill every hour, it's to fill your hours with purpose. It's not to stay busy, it's to stay aligned. When your actions come from clarity, your energy multiplies. You no longer feel the frantic pull of doing everything. You feel the calm power of doing what matters most. And that is where real productivity lies, not in the endless rush of tasks, but in the quiet precision of purpose-driven action. Training the mind is one of the most valuable disciplines a person can ever learn. Your thoughts shape your reality, and your ability to control them determines the quality of your life. Most people let their minds run on autopilot, reacting, wandering, worrying, and then wonder why their lives feel chaotic or unfulfilled. But the truth is simple. Your mind can either be your greatest ally or your greatest obstacle. If left untrained, it will drift wherever emotion or distraction pulls it. When trained, it becomes a tool of incredible precision and power. The process begins with awareness. You cannot train what you do not observe. Most people are unaware of how often their attention slips away from the present moment. Their bodies are in one place, but their thoughts are scattered across dozens of others. Replaying the past, predicting the future, imagining conversations, scrolling through endless streams of information. The mind is restless, constantly seeking stimulation. To train it, you must first learn to notice when it drifts and gently bring it back. That simple act of noticing and returning is the foundation of mental discipline. Think of your mind like an untrained muscle. The first time you try to lift weight, it feels heavy and unfamiliar. But with repetition, your strength grows. Focus works the same way. Each time you resist a distraction, you're building your mental endurance. Every time you finish what you start, you're strengthening your discipline. Over time, this consistent training transforms how you think, work, and live. You stop being at the mercy of impulse and start leading yourself with intention. Training your mind also requires patience. In a world that glorifies speed and instant gratification, patience has become rare. But it is essential. Mastery doesn't come overnight. It's built through repetition, through showing up on the days you don't feel inspired, through doing what you said you do long after the excitement has faded. The more you practice focus, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, concentration stops feeling forced. It becomes your default state. One of the best ways to train your mind is through stillness. Moments of silence are not wasted time. They are powerful exercises in awareness. When you sit quietly and observe your thoughts without judgment, you begin to see how chaotic the mind truly is. You realize how often fear, worry, and distraction drive your decisions. This awareness gives you control. You begin to choose your thoughts instead of being controlled by them. Over time, you develop mental clarity, a quiet strength that allows you to think deeply, decide wisely, and act deliberately. Discipline is another key part of mental training. It's not about forcing yourself into perfection. It's about consistency. When you say you'll do something and follow through, you train your mind to trust itself. Each promise kept builds confidence. Each disciplined choice rewires your brain to value progress over comfort. Soon, you stop needing external motivation because your inner standards become stronger than your excuses. This is where true power begins. When your mind obeys your purpose, not your moods. To train your mind effectively, you must also manage your environment, the spaces you occupy, the people you interact with, and the information you consume all influence your focus. Surround yourself with clarity and purpose. Create conditions that support concentration. A clean workspace, a defined routine, and time free of digital distractions. The mind thrives in environments that match its intentions. When your surroundings reflect your goals, discipline becomes easier. It's equally important to train your mind to work with emotion rather than against it. Many people believe they must eliminate fear, doubt, or frustration before taking action. But emotional control doesn't mean suppression. It means understanding. A trained mind acknowledges emotion, then decides how to respond. Instead of reacting impulsively, it pauses, evaluates, and acts with reason. This self-control is one of the highest forms of strength. It allows you to stay centered, even when life becomes chaotic. Training the mind also means embracing discomfort. Growth rarely happens in comfort zones. Whether it's learning a new skill, developing better habits, or facing your fears, progress always feels uncomfortable at first. But each time you push through resistance, your mental resilience grows. You begin to trust your capacity to endure, to adapt, to overcome. Eventually, challenges stop intimidating you. They start sharpening you. Every great achievement begins in the mind. Before any success is visible on the outside, it's built internally through consistent thought, focus, and discipline. A trained mind doesn't waste energy on things beyond its control. It knows where to direct attention and when to let go. It moves with purpose instead of panic, clarity instead of confusion. When you learn to train your mind, you stop waiting for motivation. You become your own source of it. You stop chasing inspiration and start creating momentum. Life becomes less about reacting and more about choosing. Choosing your focus, your responses, and your direction. That is what separates those who drift from those who rise. A trained mind sees beyond distraction. It sees what truly matters. And it has the discipline to stay there. Time is the one resource that can never be replenished, and yet it is the one most easily wasted. Every day, people trade their precious hours for distractions, comfort, or momentary pleasure without realizing the long-term cost. The tragedy is not that time passes. It's that so much of it passes unnoticed, unappreciated, and unused. You can recover from mistakes, rebuild finances, or restart careers, but once time is gone, it's gone forever. The cost of wasted time is not measured in minutes or hours. It's measured in lost potential, unfulfilled dreams, and opportunities that will never return. When you waste time, you're not just losing moments. You're borrowing from your future self. Every day spent without direction or focus becomes a debt that your future will have to pay. The projects you postpone, the skills you never build, the relationships you neglect, all of them accumulate quietly until one day you realize that the future you imagined is slipping away. The painful truth is that most people don't realize the value of time until it's too late. They live as if there's always more of it, until they reach a point where there's less ahead than behind. People often think of time as something they have, but in reality, it's something they're spending every moment. The question is not whether you're using time, but how you're using it. Are you investing it into growth, or wasting it in distraction? Are you building your future, or just passing through your present? The difference between success and regret often comes down to how intentionally a person spends their time. Every successful life is built on the quiet discipline of using each day well, while every life filled with what-ifs is the product of time spent carelessly. The mind often convinces you that wasting time is harmless. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, that you need to rest just a little longer, that there's no real urgency, but time doesn't wait for readiness. It doesn't pause for convenience. The minutes you let slip away don't return with better conditions. They vanish. Every delay becomes a lost opportunity for growth. What begins as a small distraction can evolve into a habit of avoidance. Before long, procrastination becomes a way of life, and the things that once inspired you now intimidate you. Every hour wasted weakens discipline, and every focused hour strengthens it. The mind learns from repetition. When you consistently choose distraction over direction, your brain adapts. It begins to crave the easy path. But when you consistently choose focus, even when it's uncomfortable, your brain learns to associate effort with fulfillment. You begin to feel a deeper satisfaction in progress than in escape. That's how transformation begins. By understanding that every choice you make with your time is shaping the person you're becoming. Imagine standing at the end of your life, looking back at everything you've done or failed to do. What will matter then? Not the hours you spent scrolling through meaningless content, or the countless times you said, "Maybe later." What will matter are the moments you showed up, the chances you took, the time you invested in growth, love, and purpose. The greatest pain is not failure. It's realizing you never gave yourself the chance to succeed. Wasted time turns potential into regret. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is to start treating time as your most valuable currency. You wouldn't hand your money to a stranger without thought, yet people give away their time every day to distractions that offer no return. When you begin to value your time, everything changes. How you spend your mornings, who you spend your evenings with, what you say yes or no to. You become more selective, not out of arrogance, but out of awareness. You realize that your time is your life, and it deserves to be protected. Every moment has meaning, but only if you give it purpose. When you use your time intentionally, even small actions become powerful. 10 minutes of focused work every day compounds into mastery. 15 minutes of daily learning reshapes your understanding. A single hour of quality connection can strengthen relationships for a lifetime. The smallest units of time, when spent wisely, create the largest transformations. But when wasted, they disappear into a blur of forgettable moments that add up to nothing. It's not enough to simply know that time is valuable. You must live as if it is. That means acting with urgency, not panic, with focus, not haste. It means realizing that someday is not a day on the calendar. The perfect time will never arrive, because life will never stop being complicated. The only right time is now. Every day you wait to begin is a day you'll wish you had back. The true cost of wasted time is invisible at first. You don't feel it in the moment. You feel it later, when you look back and realize how much more you could have done, become, or created. That's why the most successful people treat time as sacred. They understand that their future depends on the decisions they make today. Every second counts, and every day is a chance to move closer to purpose. Once you grasp the truth, you stop treating time as something to kill and start treating it as something to build with. Success isn't achieved in the bursts of excitement or flashes of inspiration. It's built in the quiet consistency of daily effort. True discipline is not about intensity. It's about endurance. It's the ability to show up day after day, whether you feel motivated or not, and do the work that needs to be done. The most successful people in the world don't rely on motivation. They rely on structure, routine, and commitment. Motivation is emotional, it fluctuates. Discipline is logical, it endures. The difference between those who dream and those who achieve lies in the ability to keep moving forward when the feeling fades. Every person starts with enthusiasm. At the beginning of any goal, whether it's a fitness plan, a business idea, or a self-improvement journey, there's a burst of energy. You feel unstoppable, driven, and inspired. But as time passes, that initial excitement fades, replaced by fatigue, doubt, or boredom. This is the point where most people stop, convincing themselves that they've lost motivation, that maybe the timing isn't right, or that the goal was unrealistic. But in truth, this is where real progress begins. Discipline is forged in these moments, not when it's easy to continue, but when it's hard to. The mind naturally resists consistency. It craves novelty and comfort, not repetition and discomfort. Yet, the very thing it resists is the foundation of mastery. Every skill, habit, or success story is built through repetition. It's not the grand gestures that create transformation. It's the small, daily choices that accumulate over time. Reading a few pages each day turns into knowledge. Saving a small amount regularly builds wealth. Exercising consistently creates strength. The compounding power of small actions is what transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary outcomes. Discipline also demands sacrifice. You cannot become who you want to be without letting go of who you currently are. That means saying no to distractions, cutting out excuses, and accepting temporary discomfort for long-term growth. Most people fail because they want both, the comfort of today and the success of tomorrow. But the two cannot coexist. You have to choose which matters more. Discipline is that choice, made over and over again, even when no one is watching. It's not glamorous or exciting. It's often quiet and repetitive. But it's the only way to reach a level of excellence that inspiration alone can never deliver. There's a misconception that disciplined people have it easier, that they're naturally focused or unbothered by temptation. In reality, they face the same resistance as everyone else. They just act differently. Instead of negotiating with their emotions, they follow their commitments. Instead of waiting for the right moment, they create it through action. They understand that progress doesn't require perfection. It only requires persistence. Every time they choose to act, they reinforce the identity of someone who follows through. Over time, this becomes who they are. The struggle for consistency often feels invisible. No one celebrates the early mornings, the late nights, or the moments you push through fatigue. Yet, those unseen hours are where greatness is born. It's easy to admire the success of others without recognizing the discipline that built it. The artist who seems naturally talented has spent thousands of unseen hours practicing. The entrepreneur who appears lucky has endured countless failures and rejections. What looks effortless from the outside is almost always the result of relentless consistency behind the scenes. Discipline also has a rhythm. It's not about doing everything perfectly, but about returning every time you slip. Even the most disciplined people fall off track occasionally, but what sets them apart is how quickly they recover. They don't let one bad day become a bad week or a bad habit. They realign, refocus, and resume. That's the true strength of discipline. It's not rigidity, it's resilience. It's the ability to bend without breaking, to fall and still move forward. When you live with discipline, you start to trust yourself on a deeper level. You no longer depend on external validation or fleeting bursts of motivation. You know that even on your worst days, you will still do what needs to be done. That self-trust becomes your greatest source of confidence. It replaces self-doubt with certainty and turns effort into identity. You no longer chase motivation, you embody momentum. Consistency doesn't just change your results, it changes your relationship with yourself. Each act of discipline strengthens your belief in your own capability. Every time you follow through, you build evidence that you can rely on yourself. That belief compounds over time until it becomes unshakable. And once you trust yourself to stay the course, success is no longer a question of if, only when. The truth is, there will never be a perfect day to begin or an easy path to follow, but every single day offers a choice: stay comfortable or stay consistent. One leads to fleeting pleasure, the other to lasting progress. The path of discipline is not easy, but it's the only one that guarantees growth. When you commit to showing up no matter how you feel, you step into a rare group. The few who don't just wish for change, but create it, one deliberate action at a time. In a world overflowing with noise, learning to focus on what truly matters is one of the greatest strengths a person can develop. Every day, we are pulled in 100 different directions. Notifications, messages, obligations, and endless streams of information demanding our attention. Our time is scattered, and with it, our energy. But success, fulfillment, and peace of mind don't come from doing everything. They come from doing the right things with deliberate focus. The more you refine your attention, the more powerful and purposeful your life becomes. The mind loves distraction because it gives the illusion of productivity. Checking your phone, switching between tasks, or multitasking makes you feel busy, but business is not the same as progress. Focus, on the other hand, requires presence. It means being fully engaged with what's in front of you and refusing to divide your attention between meaningless noise. When you focus deeply, you enter a state of flow, where time slows down, creativity expands, and results multiply. The world rewards those who can concentrate, because focus is now rarer than talent. But staying focused in the modern world is not easy. Our brains have been conditioned by constant stimulation. We reach for our phones in moments of silence, scroll aimlessly when we feel restless, and chase quick dopamine hits instead of long-term rewards. This mental fragmentation weakens our ability to think deeply, work efficiently, and connect meaningfully. To reclaim your focus, you must consciously retrain your brain to value depth over distraction. It begins by creating boundaries, not just physical ones, but mental ones. Protect your attention like a precious resource, because it is. Every distraction has a cost. Each time you interrupt your concentration, even briefly, your brain needs time to refocus. Those small interruptions, a notification here, an unnecessary thought there, slowly drain your productivity and clarity. Imagine pouring water into a bucket full of holes. No matter how much effort you put in, it never fills. That's what happens when you scatter your focus across too many things. The solution is not to work harder, but to work with more intention. Decide what deserves your energy and let go of the rest. Clarity is the foundation of focus. You can't direct your mind effectively without knowing what you're aiming for. Start each day with purpose. Ask yourself, what truly matters today? Which task will move me closer to my goals? Once you identify your priorities, commit to them fully. Block out time, eliminate distractions, and immerse yourself completely. When you learn to give your best attention to one thing at a time, your output improves and your stress decreases. Focus simplifies life. It filters out the unnecessary and highlights what's essential. Another powerful way to strengthen focus is through intentional pauses. The mind isn't built to run endlessly without rest. Taking short breaks to breathe, stretch, or reflect resets your concentration. True focus doesn't come from endless effort, it comes from rhythm, moments of intensity balanced by moments of recovery. Just as an athlete trains in intervals, your mind performs best when it has time to recharge. This balance prevents burnout and keeps your attention sharp. Surroundings play a quiet but crucial role in how well you focus. A cluttered environment often leads to a cluttered mind. The space you work or live in should reflect the clarity you seek internally. Remove distractions, organize your surroundings, and create a space that invites stillness. When your environment supports your focus, your mind naturally aligns with your goals. The same applies to the people you allow into your circle. Energy is contagious. Spend time with those who value growth, presence, and purpose, not those who pull you toward chaos or distraction. Focusing on what matters also means learning to say no. Every yes you give takes time and energy away from something else. People often struggle with this because they fear disappointing others or missing opportunities. But saying no is not rejection. It's selection. It's choosing what aligns with your vision and letting go of what doesn't. The most successful and fulfilled people are not those who do everything. They are those who focus on what truly moves them forward. Focus also requires emotional discipline. Sometimes the distraction isn't external, it's internal. Worry, fear, and overthinking can scatter your attention just as much as any notification. A trained mind knows how to return to the present, even when emotions try to pull it elsewhere. When you catch yourself lost in thought, take a breath and bring yourself back to now. The power of focus lies in the present moment. It's where all real work, change, and creation happen. Over time, focus becomes a way of life. You begin to see through the noise, to separate what's urgent from what's important, and to move through your days with a calm sense of direction. Instead of reacting to everything around you, you start responding with clarity. You discover that when you give your best attention to what truly matters, your growth, your purpose, your relationships, everything else starts to fall into place. In a distracted world, focus is a superpower. It's the difference between being busy and being effective, between living by default and living by design. When you master your attention, you master your results. And when you learn to focus only on what matters, you stop wasting time and start creating a life that actually does. There comes a point in life when you realize that not everything deserves your attention, your energy, or your time. Some battles aren't worth fighting, some opinions aren't worth defending, and some people aren't worth convincing. The more you grow, the more you understand that peace is not found in having everything under control. It's found in choosing what to let go of. When you stop trying to manage everything, you reclaim your power. The greatest strength you can develop is knowing where to direct your focus and where to withdraw it. So much of life's stress comes not from what happens to us, but from how we respond to it. We waste hours replaying conversations, overanalyzing mistakes, or trying to fix things that were never ours to fix. The untrained mind wants to control every outcome. It wants everything to make sense, to go according to plan, to align perfectly with our expectations. But reality doesn't work that way. The more you try to control the uncontrollable, the more anxious and frustrated you become. Freedom begins when you learn to release that need. When you shift from control to clarity, from reaction to acceptance. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop carrying what doesn't belong to you. You stop holding on to guilt for things you cannot change, or resentment toward people who will never apologize. You stop fighting battles that steal your peace and start focusing on what truly moves you forward. The more you release, the lighter you become, mentally, emotionally, and even physically. It's as if you clear space within yourself for new possibilities to enter. You make room for growth. One of the hardest lessons in life is realizing that not everything will go as planned. People will disappoint you. Situations will unfold differently than expected. Goals will take longer to achieve. When you cling to how things should be, you suffer. But when you accept things as they are, you gain freedom. Acceptance isn't surrender. It's strength. It's the understanding that peace doesn't come from perfect circumstances, but from a calm mind within imperfect ones. When you let go of the need to control outcomes, you begin to control yourself, your reactions, your energy, and your focus. Letting go also means releasing the weight of the past. Many people carry old pain like a shadow, dragging it into every new experience. But you can't move forward if you're still chained to what's behind you. The past is a teacher, not a prison. Learn the lesson, thank the experience, and move on. Every time you choose to forgive, you're not excusing someone else's behavior. You're freeing yourself from it. Forgiveness is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's the realization that your peace is too valuable to be held hostage by resentment. In learning to let go, you'll also face the truth about priorities. Not every problem needs solving, and not every opinion needs an answer. Some things are better left unanswered, some people better left unengaged. Your time and energy are limited. Every moment you spend on something meaningless is a moment stolen from something meaningful. The more intentional you become about where you invest your attention, the stronger your sense of purpose grows. Focus on what adds value to your life, and release what doesn't. It's also important to let go of perfection. Many people spend their lives chasing an image of flawlessness that doesn't exist. They hold themselves back from starting, speaking, or creating because they fear not being good enough. But progress doesn't come from perfection, it comes from movement. Letting go of perfection allows you to take action, make mistakes, and grow. The world doesn't reward the perfect. It rewards the persistent. Sometimes, letting go means trusting life's timing. There will be moments when things fall apart unexpectedly, and you'll wonder why. But often, what feels like loss is actually redirection. Closed doors are not failures, they're guidance. The universe has a way of removing what's not meant for you to make space for what is. Patience becomes a form of strength here. Trusting that what's meant for you will not pass you by, even if it arrives later than expected. Peace is not found in having fewer problems, but in caring less about the wrong ones. When you let go of unnecessary burdens, your mind clears, your focus sharpens, and your energy rises. You begin to live with intention instead of reaction. You stop trying to win every argument or please every person. You stop needing approval and start valuing authenticity. The less you chase control, the more you experience calm. Ultimately, letting go is an act of courage. It takes strength to walk away from what's familiar, but no longer serving you. It takes clarity to release things that once mattered, but now drain your spirit. Yet every time you choose release over resistance, you take another step toward freedom. You learn that life becomes lighter not when you gain more, but when you carry less, and when you finally stop wasting energy on what doesn't matter. You discover the quiet, powerful truth. You already have everything you need to focus on what does. Every person dreams of achieving something meaningful, but few ever experience the satisfaction of seeing those dreams fulfilled. The difference isn't intelligence, talent, or opportunity. It's alignment. When your actions, focus, and energy move in the same direction as your goals, you create unstoppable momentum. But when your attention is divided, your progress stalls. The power of alignment lies in the unity between what you think, what you say, and what you do. When your mind and actions work together, your potential becomes limitless. Most people set goals with good intentions, but fail to follow through because their daily habits contradict their desires. They say they want focus, yet their routines invite distraction. They want health but choose convenience. They want success but avoid discomfort. This internal conflict creates resistance. Like driving with one foot on the accelerator and the other on the brake. You move but not far, and the effort exhausts you. The first step toward true progress is to make your actions reflect your ambitions. Every choice you make should move you closer to, not further from, the life you want. Clarity fuels alignment. You can't focus your energy effectively if you don't know what truly matters to you. Many people chase goals that aren't their own, shaped by expectations, comparisons, or external validation. But alignment begins with honesty. Ask yourself, what do I really want? What values guide my decisions? What kind of life do I want to build? When your goals are born from clarity, not pressure, your motivation becomes internal, steady, sustainable, and self-driven. That's the kind of focus that endures long after excitement fades. Once you know what you want, the next challenge is consistency. Alignment is not a one-time decision, it's a daily practice. Every morning presents a choice. To live in accordance with your purpose, or to fall back into distraction. It's in the smallest decisions that alignment is built. Waking up on time, saying no to things that don't serve you, and staying committed to your standards even when no one is watching. Success rarely comes from dramatic breakthroughs. It grows from quiet consistency. The people who achieve the most are not those who do everything perfectly, but those who rarely drift from their purpose for long. Emotional alignment is just as important as physical discipline. If your heart isn't in what you're doing, focus becomes a struggle. Passion gives direction to discipline. It reminds you why your efforts matter. But even passion requires management. There will be days when you don't feel inspired, when challenges seem heavier than usual. Those are the moments when alignment with your deeper purpose sustains you. You don't keep going because it's easy, you keep going because it's meaningful. Eliminating distractions is essential to staying aligned. Each distraction, no matter how small, pulls your energy away from what truly matters. Modern life makes it easy to drift. Endless notifications, shallow comparisons, and the constant noise of other people's opinions. But alignment demands solitude, moments where you can think, reflect, and reconnect with your purpose. In silence, your priorities become clear. You start to see which habits and thoughts deserve your attention and which don't. Protect your peace as fiercely as your goals, because both depend on your focus. Your environment, too, must reflect your intentions. If your surroundings are filled with clutter, chaos, or negativity, staying aligned becomes harder. Create spaces that support your discipline. A clean workspace, a calm routine, a circle of people who inspire rather than drain you. Alignment thrives in environments of clarity. It's not just about removing distractions, but about surrounding yourself with reminders of your purpose. Everything you keep close should serve your growth. A crucial part of alignment is learning to act, even when the outcome is uncertain. Many people hesitate to move forward because they want guarantees. They wait for perfect conditions, perfect timing, perfect confidence. But life rarely gives perfection, it gives opportunity. The aligned mind doesn't wait, it acts in faith. It understands that clarity deepens through movement, not hesitation. Progress is born in motion. Even small, imperfect steps build momentum and bring direction to your focus. Another powerful aspect of alignment is integrity. Being true to your word. Every time you make a promise to yourself and keep it, you strengthen your inner alignment. Each time you break that promise, you weaken it. Integrity builds trust within yourself. The belief that when you decide something, you'll follow through. That belief is the foundation of confidence. Without it, motivation fades and goals lose meaning. Alignment requires that your word and your action become one. When your mind, body, and purpose move in harmony, everything changes. You stop wasting energy on inner conflict and start channeling it into creation. Challenges don't vanish, but you meet them with focus instead of frustration. You no longer chase 100 different things because you've learned to direct everything toward one. The life you're building. Alignment turns effort into progress, motion into direction, and purpose into peace. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters, completely, consistently, and with conviction. Life moves fast. Days blend into weeks, weeks into months, and before you know it, years have passed. Not because you lack time, but because you didn't truly live in it. We often move through life distracted, half present, always rushing toward the next thing. The mind is either stuck replaying yesterday or worried about tomorrow, rarely resting in the now. But the truth is, life only ever happens in the present moment. The power to change, to focus, to grow, it all exists here and now. Learning to live presently is not just a habit, it's a transformation. It's the shift from existing to truly being alive. When you start to live in the present, you begin to notice how much of your life is spent in mental noise. The endless internal chatter, the constant comparison, the planning and replaying. Your mind becomes like a crowded room with no space to think clearly. Presence quiets that noise. It allows you to see, feel, and experience life fully, without judgment or distraction. You begin to appreciate simple things. The rhythm of your breath, the warmth of sunlight, the sound of laughter. These small details, once overlooked, become reminders of how much richness exists in the now. Most people think focus is about discipline alone, but true focus comes from presence. When your attention is completely in the moment, distractions lose their power. You stop thinking about what could go wrong and start immersing yourself in what's right in front of you. You work better, listen deeper, and connect more authentically. The present moment becomes your anchor, grounding you amidst life's constant movement. And with that grounding comes clarity, a calm, steady sense of control that no external chaos can take away. Presence also deepens emotional intelligence. When you are fully aware in the moment, you start noticing your thoughts and feelings as they arise, without being consumed by them. You see anger before it turns into reaction, fear before it turns into paralysis, and joy before it slips by unnoticed. This awareness gives you choice, the ability to respond with wisdom instead of impulse. You stop being ruled by your emotions and start guiding them. That is the quiet power of mindfulness. It doesn't erase difficulty, but it changes how you meet it. Living in the present doesn't mean ignoring the past or neglecting the future. It means learning from the past without living there, and preparing for the future without fearing it. You take what's useful and let go of what isn't. The mind's natural habit is to wander, but each time you bring it back to the moment, you strengthen your focus like a muscle. Over time, presence becomes your default state. Not something you force, but something you return to naturally. Modern life makes presence difficult. We are surrounded by constant stimulation, screens, notifications, and distractions designed to steal our attention. The more connected we are digitally, the more disconnected we become mentally. Reclaiming presence requires intentional effort. Turn off the noise. Take breaks from technology. Create small moments of stillness throughout your day. Moments to breathe, to reflect, to simply be. These pauses might seem small, but they're powerful resets for the mind. They remind you that you control your attention, not the world around you. Presence also transforms relationships. When you truly listen, not just to reply, but to understand, people feel seen and valued. When you share time without distraction, moments deepen into memories. The quality of your attention determines the quality of your connections. In a world where everyone's attention is scattered, your ability to be fully present becomes a rare gift, both to others and to yourself. Even your goals become more attainable when you live in the present. Big dreams can feel overwhelming when you focus only on the end result. But when you bring your attention back to the single step in front of you, one task, one action, one decision, progress becomes manageable. You stop waiting for motivation and start creating momentum. Presence simplifies complexity. It allows you to give your best effort to the moment at hand, which is the only place where true progress happens. There's a quiet beauty in realizing that you don't need to rush to the next moment for life to feel meaningful. Everything you're looking for, peace, clarity, joy, exists here, now. When you start to slow down and fully engage with the present, time feels different. It expands. You experience more by doing less, because you're finally awake to the moment you're in. The noise fades, and what remains is life, real, vivid, and alive. Living in the present is an act of focus, but also an act of gratitude. It's recognizing that every breath, every heartbeat, every moment is fleeting and precious. You begin to see that life isn't something waiting for you in the future. It's happening now, and when you choose to live with full awareness, you stop chasing time and start embracing it. The world feels calmer, your thoughts grow clearer, and everything you do gains a deeper sense of meaning. The present moment is where your power lies. And once you learn to stay there, you stop wasting time and start truly living. Thank you for listening to Wisdom in Minutes Audiobooks.